अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स, कैसे हैं आप लोग? उम्मीद है कि ठीक ठाक होंगे, खुशबाश होंगे। अगर नहीं हैं तो मैं आपको खुश रहने का एक छोटा सा गुर बताना चाहती हूँ। आप अपने किसी प्यारे, किसी क्लोज रिलेटिव, क्लोज फ्रेंड को खुश करने की कोशिश करें और वो खुशी जो आपको किसी को खुश करने में मिलेगी, उस खुशी का कोई सानी नहीं है। इस छोटी सी बात से आज का 8वां लेक्चर शुरू करते हैं। आपको पता है कि हम ट्रेनिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट के कोर्स की डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं। इसके अंदर हम स्ट्रेटेजिक ट्रेनिंग का टॉपिक डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। इन दैट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड हाउ स्ट्रेटेजी इन्फ्लुएंसेस हाउ ट्रेनिंग इज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इन योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. We have discussed how the role of training has evolved from a traditional training approach to a more contemporary and modern training approach, which emphasizes on learning. We have discussed the strategic training and development process. We have also discussed the various organizational characteristics that influence training and how training is designed in the organizations. And finally, we had discussed the implications of some general business strategies on the training and development function. Continuing that discussion, today we are going to explore and see the various training models or the various types of models in which training is organized in companies or organizations. So we are going to explore the different methods or models in which training function is organized. Some of these models, they are more traditional, they are more classical ways of organizing the training function, and some of them are the more contemporary or modern ways of organizing the training function. The type of models that we are going to discuss today, these are the centralized training model, the customer-focused training model, the faculty model, the matrix model, the corporate university model, and finally the business embedded training model. Out of these, the first 4 ones are the more traditional ways of organizing the training function, and corporate university model and business embedded training model are the more contemporary ways of organizing training. But in order to understand all the aspects or ways of designing this function, we are going to look at all of them so that you understand how it has changed from a more traditional approach towards organizing training to a more contemporary approach towards organizing training, and what is the difference between that. So we are also going to look at the difference between the traditional training approaches to organize training and the more contemporary training approaches to organize the training function. The first type of training model is the centralized training model. This is the one in which training and development programs, resources, and professionals are primarily housed in one location, and decisions about training investment, programs, and delivery methods are made from that department. So this is a kind of training model जहाँ पर आपके training professionals, training resources और training facilities वो एक ही जगह पे centralized होती हैं. So इसमें आपकी organization में probably एक facility जो है वो इनको training department को दे दी जाती है, एक building उनको दे दी जाती है, एक section उनको दे दिया जाता है, और उसके अलावा फिजिकल रिसोर्सेज के साथ साथ जो डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस है और जो स्ट्रक्चरल उसका मॉडल है वो भी सेंट्रलाइज्ड होता है. सो जो डिसीजंस हैं वो भी सेंट्रलाइज्ड डिसीजन मेकिंग होती है. जो प्रोग्राम डिजाइन है वो भी एक सेंट्रलाइज्ड सिस्टम के तहत ऑपरेट किया जाता है. सो इन दिस काइंड ऑफ अ ट्रेनिंग मॉडल, the training function is centralized within the organization as a separate department with a separate facility with separate resources. So what are the different advantages of having a centralized training department? First of all, it helps you to drive alignment between the business strategy and the training function, because all the decisions are taking place at one place by a group of people who are housed and located at one place. So it would be easy for them to communicate and link the training function with the business strategy of the organization. So having a centralized training function would help you align your training function with the business strategy of the organization. Then it also allows you to develop a common set of metrics or scorecards. So when you are having training at a centralized place, जहां पर अगर आप ट्रेनिंग करवा रहे हैं किसी एक पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट के बारे में, फॉर एग्जांपल क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग करवा रहे हैं, तो जो आप क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग करवा रहे हैं आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के सब लोग वही क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग रिसीव करेंगे. इसलिए आप उस क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग को असेस एक ही तरह से कर सकते हैं. So you will have the same metrics, the same evaluation for that particular kind of training. Whereas if your training is dispersed in different locations and your training function is decentralized, in that case you would be conducting different trainings for the same for the same aspect. So you would be conducting the quality training for marketing, quality training for finance, or quality training for your information systems personnel. If you're doing it in different places and in a different way, then you would have different metrics for that. Then those metrics cannot be it would be difficult to align those metrics or align those scorecards कि इनमें जो performance है जो आपने एक ट्रेनिंग एट ए प्लेस करवाई है और जो दूसरी एट बी करवाई है और सी करवाई है, उसके जो आउटकम्स हैं वो मैच किए जा सकते हैं, उनको एक जगह पे देखा जा सकता है, उनके रिजल्ट्स को इंटीग्रेट किया जा सकता है. सो सेंट्रलाइज्ड ट्रेनिंग मॉडल के अंदर जो आपकी ट्रेनिंग है उसके आउटकम्स और रिजल्ट्स जो हैं वो यूनिफॉर्म होंगे और उनको एक ही मैट्रिक्स के साथ मेजर और एनालाइज किया जा सकता है. सो this is one of the advantage of having a centralized training function. Then it also helps you to streamline your training processes, because the training is being conducted at one place and the decisions are being taken in one place. Therefore, the processes can be streamlined and they can run smoothly without any delays or without any disintegration. Then another advantage of having a centralized training model is that you can reduce the costs of purchasing the training. If you have to purchase training, that means if you have to outsource, if you have to purchase the training from vendors, if you have to invite training consultants, if you will be doing at 3 or 4 different places, the cost of organizing that training for 4 different places would definitely be higher than if you organize the same training at one place and get the training done in one place. So you can have more people trained in one place than you can have them trained in 4 different places or more than that. So if you have a decentralized training function, your cost of training will go up just by replicating the same type of training courses. So you can reduce costs by having a centralized training department. Then finally, another advantage of a centralized training model is that you can better integrate programs for developing leaders and managing talent. Because your training is being organized from one place, That means that all the people from the organization will be coming to the same place to get trained for leadership programs and talent management. So you would know that which people are those who are promising leaders, and it would be easier for you, for the organization, to identify these people when they come down at the same place. So it would be easier to develop leaders and to manage talent from a centralized training place. That would be another advantage of having a centralized training model. The second type of a training model is the faculty training model. As you can see from the word faculty, it is something that is similar to a college or a university. So that training department is organized as a college or as a educational facility. So as you can see that this is headed by a director of training, and there are 4 or 5 different types of subjects or disciplines in which the training takes place. So you can see that the subjects or the disciplines in which the training takes place is safety training, quality training, technology and computer systems training, leadership development, and sales training. So जिस तरह आपके educational institutions में different subjects होते हैं, for example आप financial accounting पढ़ते हैं, आप marketing पढ़ते हैं, आप human resources पढ़ते हैं, उसी तरह से training department एक educational facility की तरह से organize किया जाता है, जिसमें training जो है वो different subjects के ऊपर दी जाती है. It does not matter कि training लेने वाला किस department से आ रहा है, वो क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग लेने आ रहा है तो सेल्स से आ रहा है, मार्केटिंग से आ रहा है, फाइनेंस से आ रहा है. क्वालिटी ट्रेनिंग सबको दी जाएगी. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप ISO 9000 सर्टिफिकेशन की ट्रेनिंग लेना चाहते हैं तो ISO 9000 की सर्टिफिकेशन के बारे में ट्रेनिंग दी जाएगी. इट वुडंट मैटर विच पार्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन द ट्रेनीज आर कमिंग फ्रॉम. So the training function is organized around various disciplines or subjects of training. The advantage of having a faculty model is that you have experts of a particular subject in your organization that is related to the training function. So आपके पास जो teachers हैं या instructors हैं या trainers हैं वो आपके सब्जेक्ट के एक्सपर्ट्स होते हैं. देन यू कैन ऑर्गेनाइज योर ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स अकॉर्डिंग टू दी स्टाफ एक्सपर्टीज, कि आपके पास जिन सब्जेक्ट्स के, जिन ट्रेनिंग एरियाज के लोग एक्सपर्ट्स मौजूद हैं, आप उन्हीं चीजों की ट्रेनिंग दे सकते हैं. तो ट्रेनिंग को ऑर्गेनाइज करना बहुत आसान है. दैट द एक्सपर्ट्स दैट यू हैव, द सेम काइंड ऑफ ट्रेनिंग विल बी गिवन to your organizational members. But this becomes very academic and sometimes pedantic. And what happens is that the disadvantage of having a faculty model is that there is less alignment between the business needs and the kind of training that is given to your organizational members. जैसे आपके एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में कई दफा ये कहा जाता है कि जो पढ़ाया जाता है वो जब प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में जाते हैं तो अप्लाई नहीं होता. सो जब ट्रेनिंग बहुत ज्यादा कंसेप्चुअल हो जाए और बहुत ज्यादा मायोपिक हो जाए किसी एक सब्जेक्ट के बारे में, तो वो बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम्स या बिजनेस नीड्स के साथ अलाइनमेंट उसका होना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. सो ये एक डिसएडवांटेज है एक फैकल्टी मॉडल आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ट्रेनिंग डिपार्टमेंट के होने का, कि जो ट्रेनिंग फंक्शन है वो आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की नीड्स को प्रोबेबली मीट ना कर पाए. और दूसरी बात ये कि चूंकि आपके ट्रेनिंग एक्सपर्ट्स, बिकॉज दे हैव एक्सपर्टीज इन अ पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट, they may not be ready to modify the way they carry on or they conduct training that fits the requirement or needs of the organization. क्योंकि वो ट्रेनिंग एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, उनको ट्रेनिंग के बारे में पता है, उनको बिजनेस की नीड्स के बारे में नहीं पता. तो वो अपना मटेरियल, अपना काम, अपना तरीकेकार, ये पॉसिबिलिटी है कि वो उसको उसकी नीड्स के साथ एडजस्ट ना करें. सो ये कुछ डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं फैकल्टी मॉडल होने के. देन अनदर काइंड ऑफ ट्रेनिंग मॉडल इज द कस्टमर मॉडल. Customer model is responsible for the training needs of a specific business unit or specific business function. So the training is organized according to the customers of training. Customers of training कौन होंगे? वो जो trainees train हो रहे हैं. So they are, the training department is organized to serve the needs of the customers. So you can see that there is a director of training, and the training is organized around the functions of the business, which are marketing, finance, production and operations, and information systems. So training, for example, in sales training or quality training, that will be given to marketing people, and it does not matter that what kind of training is being given to the marketing people. The training that is being given to the marketing people will be organized according to the needs of the marketing department. The advantages of having a customer model is that training programs are developed more in line with the particular needs of a business function. Because you are serving the needs of the customers of the training, therefore, your training function will be more aligned with the business requirements of your organization. And trainers, they are also expected to be aware of the needs of the business function more clearly. Whereas in a faculty model, trainers are expert in their expertise of the subject. Whereas in a customer model, the trainers, they need to be expert of the function. So they have to be expert of the marketing function, or expert of the finance function, rather than being expert trainers. So the trainers have to be aware of the needs of the business unit. And the courses that they develop and the content that they develop, that should reflect the needs of the business. The disadvantages of this kind of a training model is that the trainers, they have to spend considerable time learning the organizational function. So a trainer is an expert in training. That person may not be an expert in marketing or finance or production. So that person will have to spend considerable time in learning that function, in learning about the functions of finance, about the functions of marketing. So a training expert will need to spend that considerable time. So that means that would include delays in the design of program, and then the design of programs may be poor because you will be designing different training programs for different functions of your organization. And in that, what will happen is that the content of training will be modified according to the needs of a particular program, needs of a particular function, and what will happen is that there will be inconsistency between them. So when there will be inconsistency, the design will become poor. So these are few disadvantages of a customer model. To overcome the problems of having a faculty model and a customer model, we come up with another kind of model of organizing training. And that model is a matrix model. As you can see, that there is a director of training, and training is organized according to various subjects. And you can see that trainer for sales training will report both to the marketing manager as well as the director of training. So, a trainer in a matrix model has to be a training expert as well as a functional expert. And that person has to report and discuss the training programs both with the director of training as well as the head of the function. So a person who is giving sales training will have to coordinate with the director of training, as well as sales is related to marketing, so that person will have to coordinate with the marketing manager as well. So a person will be a training expert in sales as well as a functional expert of marketing. So in this kind of a matrix model, it helps to ensure that the training function is aligned with the business needs of the organization or business needs of that particular function for which the training is being organized. And the trainer becomes an expert in training of his or her own area as well as the expert of the function for which the training is being provided. But the disadvantage of this kind of a training model is that there will be conflict because a trainer in sales will have to report to two people. So there will be a conflict between authority. Director of training कुछ कह रहा है, marketing manager कुछ कह रहा है, तो जो trainer है उसके लिए conflict develop हो जाएगा, उसके लिए dilemmas develop हो जाएंगे कि वो किसकी बात माने या वो किसकी बात को सुने. So इस दोनों को coordinate करना और दोनों को align करना, it may take time and it may take effort and it would require conflict resolution. So that could be a disadvantage of having a matrix model. So these four types of models, the centralized training model, the matrix training model, the faculty training model, and the customer training model are the more traditional types of training models. इन सब में आपने देखा कि कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स या कुछ ना कुछ डिसएडवांटेजेस या कुछ वीकनेसेस ऐसी आपको नजर आई, हमने डिस्कस की, जो कि ट्रेनिंग को या बिजनेस नीड्स के मुताबिक बनाने में प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करती है या ट्रेनिंग कंटेंट को एक रिच ट्रेनिंग कंटेंट होने में प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करती है. सो इनको ओवरकम करने के लिए जो कंटेम्पररी ट्रेनिंग मॉडल्स हैं, these are, one is the corporate university training model and the other one is the business embedded training model. So first let's discuss the corporate university training model. A corporate university is basically a philosophy. It is a different philosophy of organizing learning and development in your organization than only looking at from the perspective of training people. So in a corporate university, there is a different philosophy of learning. And the difference of philosophy is that the learning function is driven by an organizational commitment for learning and talent management. That the organization is committed to learning. They are committed to manage talent in their organization and develop talent in their organization. So in this type of training model, learning model, what happens is that learning becomes a business partner with that organization. The learning function becomes a business partner with the organization. So the university, it comes out of being a department of a particular function, then a business partner of the organization that helps the organization develop talent, helps the organization learn, helps the organization innovate, helps the organization transform and change. So that is the concept or philosophy of a corporate university model. So learning comes in the forefront of the strategic process. Rather than something that supports the strategic process or aligns with the strategic process, learning is a function that drives the strategic process. So learning is a function through which the strategy of the organization becomes designed and transformed. So that is the crux of a corporate university model. So a corporate university model, इसमें जो client group है वो सिर्फ आपके trainees या managers नहीं होते. The client group, it also involves the universities, the colleges, the grade schools, and all the people who can contribute and they can get benefit from this learning function, this learning facility. So a corporate university, it offers a wide range of products and programs to solve the business needs than in a traditional training department would be offered. This place also emphasizes and tries to instill culture and values to the members of the organization. So this is a place where the values of the organization, the culture of the organization, it is also transformed, it is also communicated, and it is also instilled in the members of the organization. So जिस तरह से educational institutions आपकी पर्सनल ग्रूमिंग भी करते हैं, आपको कल्चर भी सिखाते हैं, आपको वैल्यूज भी सिखाते हैं, उसी तरह से कॉर्पोरेट यूनिवर्सिटी मॉडल की फिलॉसफी भी ये है कि आपको ग्रूम किया जाए और आपको कल्चर और वैल्यूज सिखाए जाएं आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के. सो सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट के बारे में ट्रेनिंग देना या किसी फंक्शनल एरिया के बारे में ट्रेनिंग देना मकसद नहीं होता. ये मकसद भी होता है कि आपको कल्चर और वैल्यूज सिखाए जाएं आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के, क्योंकि आप अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के जब तक कल्चर के साथ एडजस्ट नहीं करेंगे, जब तक आप अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के कल्चर में मिक्स नहीं होंगे, उस वक्त तक आप एक प्रोडक्टिव मेंबर नहीं बन सकते ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के. सो इसके लिए कॉर्पोरेट यूनिवर्सिटी आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल मेंबर्स में कल्चर और वैल्यूज को भी इंस्टिल करने की कोशिश करते हैं. कॉर्पोरेट यूनिवर्सिटी में ट्रेनिंग सेंट्रलाइज्ड होती है, लेकिन सेंट्रलाइज्ड इसलिए नहीं होती ताकि एक जगह पे कॉस्ट को रिड्यूस किया जा सके और सब कुछ एक जगह पे हो सके. वो इसलिए सेंट्रलाइज्ड होती है ताकि बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस को रेप्लिकेट किया जा सके. आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के किसी एक यूनिट में अगर कोई एक काम बहुत बेहतरीन तरीके से हो रहा है, देयर इज अ बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस फॉर दैट. इन अ कॉर्पोरेट यूनिवर्सिटी मॉडल, it is tried that best practice can be replicated all over the company. So that is the philosophy or objective of a corporate university. Then it enables the organization to control costs by having consistent training all over the organization. So in a corporate university model, learning is taken to the forefront of the strategic process. There are many examples of corporate universities in this world. For example, Toyota is an organization which has University of Toyota, in which learning and development of the employees takes place. Then McDonald's has Hamburger University that take care of the learning function of the organization. Then Caterpillar, you would know Caterpillar has these various industrial products. Caterpillar has got a corporate university which has got 6 colleges. So the university has got not training areas or training disciplines, but training is organized within colleges. So they have these colleges that are leadership, marketing and distribution, business and business processes, Six Sigma, and product support. So these are the most important areas that Caterpillar has identified that training should be organized around these particular disciplines, and the colleges are designed to give training on these particular subjects or areas which are most important, most critical for this organization. So this is the philosophy of corporate university model. And finally, training can be organized in an organization through a business embedded training model. This is a type of training or type of a learning function in which the learning function, it actually gets embedded into the business. It becomes absorbed in the business. It does not remain separate from the business or the business strategy. It becomes a part of the business. It is embedded in the business processes. So this is a type of training model which becomes closest to the business strategy, which becomes closest to the needs of the organization. Whatever is the need, only that type of training function, that type of training department is organized, and that keeps on changing according to the needs of the organization. So it becomes a very organic kind of a training model. If you look at a business embedded training model, you won't be able to say or identify whether it is a customer model or a faculty model or a centralized training model. Whatever is the requirement of the organization at a particular time, it will take that shape for that particular time. And the ability for it to change and transform according to the needs of the organization is maximum. So that is a business embedded training model. So a business embedded training model is organized to better control training costs and ensure strategic alignment, but at the same time respond quickly to clients' needs and provide high quality services. We had seen that the strategic training and development process or the training design process was a stepwise process which had to start from identifying the needs and then designing the program and then evaluating that. And all those steps had to be covered in a stepwise manner. So if you want to align your training function to the needs of the organization, it takes time. It becomes time consuming to go through all those steps. So what happens is that it becomes time consuming and less cost effective. But a business embedded training model that is so close to the needs of the business that they keep on identifying the needs of the business all the time. And they are continuously in the process of this analysis and need assessment, that whenever a need comes up, they don't need to go through all those steps. They can quickly respond to the client's need and serve the business purpose. So in a business embedded training model, the customers of training are not only the trainees that are being trained, the employees that are being trained. The business embedded model looks at the managers as customers as well, the managers who have to send the employees for training. So there is more alignment between the trainers and the managers, and they also see the senior managers who have to give sanctions or resources about the training as the customers of the training function as well. So that means that there is more alignment between the trainers and those people who decide that there is a requirement for training and that resources must be allocated for the learning activity. The business embedded training model is characterized by 5 competencies. These 5 competencies are strategic direction, product design, structure versatility, product delivery, and accountability for results. Now, over these 5 dimensions, 5 characteristics, if we try to analyze the traditional training approach or traditional training models and the business embedded training model, we would find that there are many differences between the traditional models and the business embedded training models. So over these 5 characteristics, that is of product design, strategic direction, product delivery, structure versatility, and accountability for results, इन सब चीज़ों के ऊपर अगर हम differentiate करने की कोशिश करें traditional training models को business embedded training models के साथ, तो हमें बहुत सारे differences नजर आएंगे. तो पहली चीज़ देखते हैं strategic direction. Strategic direction is that the business needs are satisfied by the learning activities of the organization. So in a traditional training department, what happens is that the training function, it leaves the objectives unstated or vague. So there is not clarity of vision. Whereas in a BE training model, it broadly disseminates a clearly articulated mission. So a BE training model, it communicates and defines that what is the requirement or what is the vision of a learning activity. Whereas the objective or the requirement of a training activity in a traditional model, that is left vague. उसको objectives और उसको results के साथ और outcomes के साथ align नहीं किया जाता. The traditional model, it assumes that class participants are the only customers. Whereas in BE training, it recognizes that they have a broad customer base. As I just said, that not just the employees, the participants, but also the managers and the senior managers are the customers of the training function. Then a traditional training model, it gives training according to predefined courses. कि ये आप ये कोर्स कर लें, क्वालिटी का कोर्स कर लें, सेफ्टी का कोर्स कर लें. Whereas a business embedded training model, it customizes training programs according to the needs of the clients. A traditional training model, it continues to supply courses even after they become outdated. So they may take quite a long time to analyze that this particular kind of course is not anymore required, and then they take it out of their shelves. But a business embedded training model, it realizes that there are product life cycles. So there are life cycles of the training courses as well. For example, if you are giving a training course on how to use Word for a 9-to-5 training program for a week to your employees or managers how to use Word, that is totally outdated today. Because everybody in today's time knows how to use Word. Even children know how to use Word. So if you were giving that training, let's say 10 years ago, that would probably have been a requirement at that time because people didn't know how to use Word or PowerPoint or Excel. But now these are basic competencies. Everybody knows how to do that. So you don't need to give a training that is quite rigorous for a week to make people learn these 2 or 3 different softwares. So a traditional training department would keep on providing or offering courses that become outdated, whereas a business embedded training model, it realizes that there are product life cycles. Then one of the differences is that traditional training department, it organizes the offerings by courses. That these are the different courses that they offer. Whereas a business embedded training model, it organizes its offerings by competencies. That these are the competencies that we will develop in your employees. These are the skills that we will develop. After attending this training program, this person will become more competent in this particular area, rather than offering a course of a particular content. So that is the difference. So this is the various aspects of how traditional training models differ from business embedded training model on the strategic direction aspect. Then on the product design aspect, a traditional training department, it uses cumbersome and rigid ways to design training programs, which takes long time, which takes a lot of steps, and there is a lot of wastage in that. So the design process is very rigid and cumbersome while you are designing a training. Whereas a business embedded training model, it uses benchmarks and innovative design strategies to design your training programs. So it takes lesser time, it is more efficient, but the design is, because it is benchmarked with other best practices, it is more effective as well. And then while for product design, the traditional training department, it views the suppliers as warehouses of materials, that you have got to purchase material for your training function. So the suppliers, they are seen as warehouses, like bookshops that you can just go and purchase material from them for a particular kind of a training. Whereas in a business embedded training model, the suppliers, they are linked strategically with the organization. And suppliers are used strategically. They are involved strategically. So the material, whatever they are provided, if that fits the requirement, then only it is purchased, or if the material requires some modification or some revision, then that is also identified. So it is not just picked out of the shelves, it is strategically linked with the requirement of the training. So suppliers, they are strategically involved in the design process. Then on the dimension of structural versatility, it means that the business embedded training model is more structurally versatile, that the structure is more versatile. So in a business embedded training model, what happens is that the trainers, these people, they are professionals who contribute as program designers as well as internal consultants. These people give you advice about how to design training, what are the requirements of training, how those requirements can be satisfied. Whereas in a traditional model, the trainers, they are only seen as facilitators and classroom instructors. They do not coordinate or they do not advise about the product design or how the product should be supplied. They are only viewed as instructors or facilitators of classroom learning. Whereas in a business embedded training model, they are seen as product designers and internal consultants who give you advice about what is required. A business embedded training model is able to leverage resources from many areas. So it's not that they hire people and then when they don't require them, they lay them off. What happens is that they have many resources. So they may have freelance trainers, they may have people who are on a contract basis, who are on a part-time basis. So they have many different areas from which they can leverage resources when the requirements, they grow, when the requirements are more. So rather than having a fixed staff, they are able to leverage resources from many areas. Then in a traditional training model that relies solely on training staff to determine the department's offerings. So the training staff, it designs and develops the training course and the training material and the offerings that are provided to the customers. Whereas in a business embedded training model, what happens is that the managers, they are also involved in the process of designing the training programs. So it is more structurally versatile than a traditional training model. Then on the characteristic of product delivery, the difference between a traditional training model and a business embedded training model is that in a traditional training model, training is offered at fixed time schedules and fixed locations. Whereas in a business embedded training model, the training can be provided wherever it is required and it may be accessed at whatever time it is required. So there are not some fixed schedules or fixed location where a particular training can take place. And then in product delivery, in a traditional training model, they offer a list of courses, that these are the list of courses that a person can take in a classroom learning method. Whereas in a business embedded training model, they offer menu of learning opportunities. So if a person wants to learn about safety training or quality training or sales training, the only way that person can learn about these different types of training is not just through attending a course on sales training or quality training. This person will be given a menu of learning opportunities. So if that person wants to go for online training, if that person wants to learn through web or from web-based training, if that person wants to learn through attending a particular course. So there could be different ways, methods in which the same kind of learning can take place. So the product delivery that takes place by giving people various learning opportunities, whereas in a traditional training model, there is only a list of courses that is offered. And finally, the last dimension on which the two types of training models they differ is the accountability for results. Where is the accountability for results? Where that is focused? So in a traditional training model, it is believed that it is the company that decides the requirements of employee development. Whereas a business embedded training model, it believes that the employees, they should take charge of their personal development themselves. So the company is not going to decide which person wants to develop in which way. The employee has to decide their own personal growth. So they have more empowerment, they have more choices, and they have more opportunities to go in different ways that they want to develop. Then another difference is that the training ends when the course ends in a traditional training model. The process ends over there. Whereas in a business embedded training model, on the job, follow-ups are provided to see whether training has been effective. So the training process, it does not stop once the course has finished. It keeps on following up the person to see whether the training has been effective. Then, in a traditional training model, it considers the instructor as the key player in deciding the effectiveness of the training function. Whereas in a business embedded training model, it considers that the manager is the key player in supporting training. So it's not the instructor who supports the training function, it is the manager. The manager is the key player. Instructor is only the facilitator, but the key player of determining the training requirement and providing the training support is the manager. Why? Because it's the manager who will identify or help the employee identify a training need. It is the manager who will send an employee for a particular training, and it is the manager who will support a person who has returned after getting a particular training and help that person apply that knowledge or that skill to actual work life. So it is the manager who is considered to be playing the key role in the training function. And finally, a traditional training model, it relies on the critique for the training as the only source of feedback. So the employees who give feedback about the training program, that is only the source of feedback. Whereas a business embedded training model, it evaluates the strategic effects of training and its bottom line results. So the effect of training is not just analyzed through the feedback that is given from the employees. The actual effect of that on the strategic direction of the organization, that is also measured. And the last thing is that in a traditional training model, the results, they are vaguely described. The training outcomes are vaguely described. Whereas in a business embedded training model, it guarantees that training will lead to effectiveness. So they are able to show that a particular type of training will lead to this level of effectiveness. So they are accountable for results. So these are the various differences of a traditional training model and a business embedded training model. Today we have discussed how training is organized in various types of models. Until we meet next time, thank you very much.